Hello students, in today's video we'll be continuing with the same chapter programming methodology. So today we are going to discuss about stylistic guidelines. So these are some basic concepts used in program to make it better readable for the users. So stylistic guidelines, okay, there are different types of stylistic guidelines. So the first one is use of comments. So we have already seen two types of comments in the beginning chapters, that is the single line comment and multi-line comments. So how do we use these comments in the program, and why do we use these comments in the program, right? So comments are used to improve the readability of the program. Now comments are especially useful for the programmers when they see the complex programs. Okay, when comments are written in between the programs, programmers gets an understanding about, okay, what that particular line statement is about, what that program logic is about. Okay, so comments written at the proper place in the program, it helps the programmers to understand the program logic better. Okay, like suppose like in the variable declaration section, okay, if the comments, a single line comment is used and say like these are the variables that are declared, so it tells the programmer that, okay, this is where the variables are declared and so on. Okay, now next you have is the names. So identifier names used in the program should be unique and meaningful. We have already come across variables. So variables are user-defined names. So since variables are user-defined names, and there are lots of variables that are going to be used in the program, so appropriate and meaningful variable names should be given. Like example, to do sum of two numbers, we declare three variables, like suppose like sum, a, b, right? So one variable is given the name sum. So sum is a meaningful word for that particular program. And here also another example, say like s roll underscore number. So that can signify, S stands for student roll number. And instead of that, say if you use std number, right, std number, so that can also be used because that is also a user defined variable name. However, uh, the s roll number, it's much better meaningful, right? So that can be used in the program instead of std stud number. So appropriate and unique meaningful name should be given. Now blank spaces and blank lines. Now blank space and blank line, it is must in the program. So it must be inserted in different parts of the program to improve the readability of the program. So blank spaces and blank lines are used in all the programs, and it should be used so that uh, the different parts of the programs can be separated. Like example here, in the example, hashtag include iostream.h. Now after that, you can see that there is a blank line, there is a space, that means there is a blank line, and above and below that the main function is written. So it separates the header file from the main function body. And then you can see that in the main function body, you have the variable declared like int sum. So you can see that int is the data type, and sum is the variable. So in between the int and the sum, you can see there is a space, so a blank space. So like that, blank space and blank line can be used in the program when and where required. Now indentations. So indentations also improves the readability of the program by arranging the program in a proper way. So if you can see the example here, so uh, here right after the header file there's a blank line, right? And then in the main function body you can see that The main function body is indicated by the opening and the curly braces. So you have two opening and curly braces, but if you see that the opening and the curly braces of the main function is in one line, right? So the proper indentation is given, and then after that, after uh, after one tab space, the variable declaration is there, and then the cout statement is there, and in between that you have the for loop. So for the for loop, again there is the for loop body within the opening curly braces. So that is also inside the main function, but in order to give proper recognition to the for loop, so it is written, the tab space is given, two tab space is given, so that means there is more indentations given on that. So this way indentations can be used to uh, improve the readability of the program. Okay, so presentation wise, the program becomes more readable and more presentable. Okay, now clarity and simplicity of expression. So proper usage of parentheses should be done to show the precedence of different operators with expression. So operators should always have variables before and after them, like an example a plus b. So you can see that parenthesis between the parentheses you have the variable a plus b. So plus is an operator. So between that, to the left and to the right of that also you have variables, right? So it is not possible that uh, two operators can be combined and then after that variable will be. It is not possible that a plus minus b, which is not acceptable. So always when you use an arithmetic operator or an assignment operator or whichever operators, okay, it should be preceded by an variable or an operand. Okay, so before or after the operator, the operand should be written. Now, if the program logic contains many sub-expressions, then it is broken up into separate sub-expressions in order to prevent errors such as like logical errors. Like here is an example for the root of the quadratic equation. So you can see that in maths wise, this the formula will be executed in this format. However, if you execute in this way in the C++ program, you will not get the correct output because the way of execution in C++ is to be split up into different individual sub expressions. So you have to split this formula in three ways. So as you can see below that, the this one single formula is split into three ways. So using that only because there is a precedency or hierarchy in the operators, so it will be executed differently. So that's why this particular formula is split up into three different formulas. So this way you will get the correct output. So go through all of these topics that I've discussed today. Okay, and if you have any doubts on that, you can ask me. Okay, so that will be all for today.